What's going on, guys? I'm Bergs, that's Longy, and this is NRL Last Minute Madness, round 14. What's going on, guys? We are back for Last Minute Madness this week. We unfortunately missed you guys last week, but there was Origin to look forward to, and we had a great night. I not so much so from the Origin tipping point of view, as I tipped Queensland. God, what a terrible New South Welshman I was.
Yeah,
man.
you're a traitor, mate. You're a traitor. You're a scumbag and a fiend.
Look, now, but I'm fully aboard the sweep train this week. I said that in my tipping video. I think it'll be a 3-0 sweep to the Blues after game one. How have you been, Longy? We haven't.
Oh, mate, I've nailed it. I've gone under 40 points on that one. I said the Blues win. I've tipped the sweep pre-game as well. So I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling very, very good. But I'm excited to tear in some tips this week.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And we also have another announcement, guys, fresh off our Magic Round success with an event coming to you for the TBC Live app that you can download in the description below. We have another event on this week, the 6th of June at the Depot Brewery in Artarmon, Sydney.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an awesome night. Also, we're celebrating my 31st, Getting old, man. It's getting
doubles up beautifully though. But yeah, cracker of an event, guys. We're starting at 5:30 p.m. Bunch of NRL trivia to get us launched. Giving out a bunch of free beers to anyone who gets those questions right. Hint: there will be a question about Semi Radradra. So look up how many tries he's scored and get that one ready.
Yep.
Spoiler, but yeah, it should be a cracker, guys. Then we're doing competitive footy watching after that as well. So that's always a good time. Predicting try scorers, winning jugs of beer throughout, winning pizzas at the end. There's a bunch of freebies going around. You might as well get on the piss with us, right? So
absolutely. Always
a good time. But let's turn to these tips for this week, man. And first up, we've got your favorite team, the Knights, up against the Seagulls, who have been a mixed bag. Now, Manly, they've won 2 of their last 3. You know, they beat lowly teams like the Cowboys, and they got smashed by Parramatta. So
wow,
I'm just hearing that Parramatta are better than the Cowboys. But we'll turn into this one here. Manly getting 73% of the tips. Are you on Manly or are you on the Knights here?
I'm on the Manly. You have to be on Manly for this game. The Knights, once again, they've just proven that they can't score points. And that's plain and simple. Manly are one of those teams where they have a high-powered offense when they choose to use it. And I almost think they looked better with Tom Trbojevic not at fullback last week. Lehigh Hopewadi was outstanding. So I've actually backed him to get 5 tackle breaks this week. He seems a little bit smaller in stature, but he always manages to poke through the first tackle or bump a guy off. It's ridiculous. I absolutely love this kid, and I reckon he's going to go really far if he keeps playing at fullback.
Yeah, Hopewadi's a machine. Big fan of him as well. I thought about going that way, but you covered it. So I've gone Ruben Garrick, 60-plus fantasy points. I think Newcastle's edges are going to be exposed in this one, and Garrick's going to be a big part of that. Now, tearing into the next game here, we've got the Storm and the Cowboys. This is the game we have the event on for, so you can actually go and vote on these predictions and potentially win beers out of it. But my spoiler here is the Storm are at home, up against the Cowboys side, who have been hot and cold, even in individual games against Tigers.
To say the least.
Very hot, then very cold. I think the Cowboys are a little underrated here, so only 15% of tips.
Are you going to get on the Cowboys?
Ooh, I might. I want to hear what you have to say first.
That's okay. I think there are better upsets this week than this game. I love my Cowboys. We're a very attacking focused team, and that's our DNA. That's part of who we are. It's never been a big defensive club, and that's why I love the Cowboys. But what comes with that is leaking points. And I think this will be a very high-scoring game, in a game where I do feel like one player is going to go to the sin bin from the Cowboys. Just that's how it works against the Melbourne Storm. And I think that player will be John Bateman.
Wow.
I've bagged him to get a sin bin this week. It's not a proud prediction, but it is a bold one in the sense that I think the Cowboys are going to be up against not only Melbourne being a pretty good team, although they weren't convincing last week, but also the referee in this one.
Wow.
I just also don't love our record going to Amy Park. We haven't won there in 10 years.
So Bergs, yet again, tipping against your team.
People who tip their own team don't win tipping comps.
Wow,
that's
the
all
loyalty on show
all I'm going to say.
The lack of loyalty, pure trash. I'm going to go with the Cowboys here. Big upset, 5 points. It is a massive one.
All right.
And I think I'm ahead of you on the tipping ladder at the moment.
I don't know. Don't think about that.
Yeah, on the back of these sorts of upsets. So Cowboys for me. Saying that, I'm going Pappenhausen, 60-plus fantasy points. I think he has a big day. And I think in his head, there's still a bit of a conversation to be had about that Blues number 1 jersey. Because I will say the Blues won, but Dylan Edwards didn't impress me in game 1.
Yeah, he was a bit lackluster. I thought the they were pretty lackluster again last week.
Maybe Pappenhausen will strike back
I think
in.
Pappenhausen will kill it.
Now, Dolphins v Dragons up next, and this is a close one. I think this will be a cracker of a game. 64% are going with the Dolphins here. Only 35% on the Dragons. A little 1% rounding error. I can do math, guys. But I look at this and I think, the Dolphins, they might get Max Plath back. They might get Jeremy Marshall-King back at time of recording. Both those guys are on the extended bench. I would expect them to come in. That's a big boost for them.
It is.
I still reckon the Dragons look good, though. And, no Jaden Sewer, but Couchman is a very capable replacement on the edge.
Absolutely. And this is where it comes back to me saying there are better upsets to take this week. And for me, this is one of them. And I do like what the Dragons have been doing in recent weeks. I thought their defense, for a team as old as they are, they seem to be scrambling quite well. And against the Knights, who we know don't throw that much attack at them, but they kept them to 6 points. And I think that the Dragons have quite a big forward pack, and that goes in their favor in this game, with the Dolphins not exactly having the biggest, or I would say...
Well, they're missing Flegler and Dan Safidi,
right? And,
Fafidi?
Safidi. Dan Safidi. I also think Mark Nichols is coming off the bench again, and they got Oren Keeley in this week as well. I just
Lemuelu plays.
Just start Lemuelu.
Yeah.
I think that he's very capable. He also seems to be scoring some nice Supercoach points each and every week, Lemuelu. So he has that attacking punch. Yep. But I do like the Dragons in this game, and I've backed new boy Nathan Lawson to grab a double.
I don't mind that. I like him a lot. Bit of a freak last week. He had 180 meters, 7 tackle breaks. So he's tough to contain. I've gone Toby Couchman, 65 plus fantasy points. The guy just goes out there, makes his 50 tackles, makes his meters, and is very effective. I think he might grab a try in this one too.
I like that he's been, killing it this year, and it's just sad that we couldn't see his brother in action too, with that ACL injury. We'd love to see both of them out there. Moving on to our next game though, and we have the Sharks taking on the Warriors, I believe. And I don't know about you, but this bloke is quickly becoming my most favorite player in the league.
I know where you are.
Aaron Clark.
Yes.
Right? Like, this guy has been killing it. Probably, and I think you and I were talking a little bit over the weekend about this, that probably not as good as prime Tohu Harris, but as a replacement for Tohu Harris, he has been admirable.
It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade, which is crazy to say. Aaron Clark is a guy who's needed an opportunity for a long time. And we've been saying this for a couple of years now. Like, he's a weapon when he plays in the middle there and gets those minutes, and he's been so good this year. Metcalf as well. I just keep watching Metcalf and thinking, he can't keep this up. He can't keep this up. He's playing like the best player in the comp, and he just keeps doing it. It's absolutely crazy. So, I'm tipping the Warriors in this one.
So am I.
Well, they're the favorites. The Sharks, though, comp, title threats, and we're not even giving them time of day. Do you think they have a shot at all here? I think AFB will be effective with no Barnett for the Warriors. There might be a bit of space in the middle, but I'm just backing the Waz.
I like Jackson Ford's motor, though. I, as much as Barnett is a fantastic player, and no doubt the Blues will miss him, the Warriors will miss him in terms of a leadership standpoint, because he's also captain. Jackson Ford proved to us a couple of years ago that he has the capacity to play 60-plus minutes in a big role. And I like him coming in there instead of Niokore. Niokore is more of that 20-minute, get him off. If he's going to play prop, 20 minutes on and then 20 minutes off kind of guy. But Halasima sticks to that starting edge back row spot. If Ali Tower doesn't come back into the side,
I think he will.
Yeah,
I think he should.
I've still gone with my boy Aaron Clark, though, to get 4 offloads this week. I think if they're going to have a chance in this game, they've actually won the last 2 games that they've played at Shark Park as well. So they have a good record there in recent times, the Warriors. So I'm going to back them again in, and the Sharks just too inconsistent for my liking.
I will say, I think there's going to be a bit of a spike for AFB this week. So Fennell Blake, 60-plus fantasy points. No Hazleton, no Toby Rudolph. It's going to be his day to step up.
Yeah, I thought Toby Rudolph would get named. So,
well, if he doesn't step up in this one, you know what I mean? Who else is going to do it, right? I think Cam McInnes has a big one too. Now, tearing into a Queensland derby, not the big rivalry, but it is I'm sure it's a rivalry. They're pretty close to each other, right? I feel like they should hate each other more.
Yeah. These two teams are struggling regardless. I don't think they have enough hate.
Don't understand hate. They're soft in origin. They're soft in their local rivalries. No hate, Queenslanders. But look, Broncos v Titans here. Broncos are pretty big favourites, getting 69% of the votes. That's a nice rating there. 31% to the Titans. You probably back the Broncos. Reece Walsh coming back in this one.
But it's so disrespectful to the Titans. Has anyone watched the Broncos play the last 6 weeks? It has been disgraceful, like to say the least. Like they look like they almost don't care out on the field. Last week they were down, what was it, 22-6 for most of that second half. Okay, I watched that whole second half and I was thinking, are the Broncos going to throw anything at the Manly Seagulls, who the week prior lost to Parramatta, who were
30 to 4,
they got hammered by Parramatta the week before, and then they come up against the Broncos, and you'd expect the Broncos to be this great, attacking team, and they just didn't aim up at all, and they didn't throw anything in return.
Yep.
And I just wonder whether there's a lot of talk about them. This is Adam Reynolds' 300th game as well. And God,
I think they will. Walsh and Ezra are back together as well. I think that halves combo with Ben Hunt wasn't feeding Walsh that much. I think we see a bit more out of Walsh this week. I'm going Payne Haas over 80 fantasy points.
Wow.
I think he has a massive day. I think last week he had a bit of a quiet one by his standards. I think the minutes he played were kind of ridiculous. Like it was garbage time and he was still out there, which felt a bit odd to me. But Haas has a big one, and I know you're going a different way here.
I am. I'm tipping the Titans.
Yeah. And your special prediction?
Tipping Titans, and I'm going with Jaden Campbell to have 6 tackle breaks this week, whether that be at fullback or in the halves. I just think that the Broncos have not been aiming up defensively at all, and I think they can miss a few tackles in the middle.
Fair shout. Campbell's an absolute beast. Now, into Sunday, and we got a Monday game as well.
We do.
Raiders v Rabbitos, and Raiders are comprehensive favourites here.
As they should be.
The Rabbitos they've thrown a few things around recently. They've had their shots. They're back to close to full strength. Cody Walker comes back this week.
If you consider Cody Walker coming in an upgrade, judging by the play he's had this year, it has been phenomenal.
Kalamatangi's out there as well in the front row spot.
Yeah, a guy who
one of the best
I want to say now should get picked for Origin,
but won't.
With Barnett being out, but he won't be. No, I agree.
He's in my team, but he wouldn't be.
I almost think Max King moves to the starting spot and they bring in Stefano or
Gerbo.
Yeah.
I reckon they're going to look to replace
little safety.
No, they'll look to replace Barnett. So Barnett is a bit more defensive.
Laurie Daly's going for his safe cushion.
Yeah. Barnett's a bit more defensive, and they're going to go for a defensive option, which is Gerbo in my view. But Gerbo needs to come out and play well this week. So
Keon would be such a good replacement.
Look, anyway. I don't think he's going to make it though. And for fantasy, I don't want him to.
No, but you started talking like you were going to pick South Sydney here.
Well, it's a 5-pointer, right? It's a big outsider tip. I'm thinking about it.
You do love that.
And I'm probably going to do it. I just think Canberra, they've been a bit dodgy. Josh Papali'i's big milestone game. Yeah. They've had dodgy halves of footy where they've sort of let teams back in. I think South Sydney come out and play a big game here.
Yep.
Kalamatangi over 70 fantasy points. I think he wins the forward battle by himself.
That's fine. And I'm happy for you to go that way. But there's one big thing that I will say. I'm on Canberra 100%. But they won a game without Jamal Fogarty. And for Canberra in recent years to win a game without Jamal Fogarty seemed like an impossible task. I think it's actually the worst percentage winning in the league when he is missing from the Canberra Raiders team. Like it's horrendous. And Strange went out there.
Yep.
He killed it. I thought Sanders was good as well on his Raiders debut. And one thing about the Raiders this year is they've just come together as this team, and some of these guys are having incredible years considering how bad everyone thought that they would go this year. Weeks is killing it. Strange has stepped up again. Hudson Young is arguably the best second row in the comp. Like, I just don't see them losing this game to the Rabbitos, and I think the Roosters are a better team than the Rabbitos at the moment, like at least point scoring wise. And I think if you shut down Latrell, you shut down the Rabbitos.
Yeah. I mean, I think Cody Walker is going to, feed you a bit of humble pie this week, Berg. So I'm backing the Bunnies to get a bit of an upset here. Now, Tigers v Panthers, Battle of the Cats. And in previous years, this one's had a few controversial calls. Like I remember every time I watch the Tigers and Panthers play, there's like 3 or 4 outrageous professional fouls the Panthers get away with. And then the Tigers get sin binned for absolutely nothing. So I think now that the Panthers are sort of back with the pack, we're going to see a fairer officiating here. And in those games, the Tigers have been competitive, even when the Panthers have been on top. I'm going the upset here again. 4-pointer for the Tigers. I'm making a big prediction here too. I think Jerome Luai comes out, pumps out 50+ fantasy points. He has not done that this year.
No.
And I think he has a big one. We saw him last week have his season high of both run meters and kick meters without Galvin. He's finally having to sort of step up a bit and earn that contract, and I think he will earn it this week.
I just don't see it. I don't see that happening for the Tigers. Look, what I will say is, though, the Tigers in this period that they've been a terrible team in terms of winning spoons over the last 4 years, they've played Panthers 5 times. They've actually won twice in those 5 times. So
And robbed a couple of times too.
yeah, and there's a couple of robbings in there as well. But what I saw from the Tigers last week, especially in that first 65 minutes, is they're playing like a Penrith style of football when they're not Penrith.
Yep.
Like they almost like forced themselves to do this set for set. Like let's just truck the ball upfield, not throw any offloads. And then in the last 15 minutes when they had to, they started playing some Tigers football, which was very reflective of their coach.
You've got to
remember the way he
you've
played.
got to concede something here though. They're missing a couple of guys. So Fanua Pole,
Like no one.
Alex Twal.
No one who matters.
Fanua Pole and Alex Twal, that's 2/3 of their middle forward rotation.
Twal played, just put his head in the wrong spot.
Yeah, missing those guys, right?
They're not missing that many people,
and
they're missing him. Well, they're missing him again this week, and you seem to have tipped them. So
I reckon they can get it done.
Nah, Panthers will win this game. I do like what I saw from them last week. I think that Para have taken a bit of a step up as well. So I actually think Para are a better team than the Tigers are at the moment. Tigers haven't won a game without Lachlan Galvin in the side this year. So, I mean, it's affecting them a little bit more than I think they would care to admit. But I'm actually backing Nathan Cleary to get a 40-20 this week as well. I do think they'll be on the back foot a lot of the time, but Cleary will just dominate with his kicking game. And Jarrell Skelton's back this week. I'd love to see him out there, but little Heath Mason getting run out.
Yeah. See, with the upset, though, scoring style, right? Like, if I take a few of these upsets, I just need to get one.
Yeah.
I just need to get one. I bump up. I reckon the Tigers can do it. And then we got the Dogs and the Eels running through here. Monday footy. Should be an absolute cracker of a game. For the Doggies and the Eels are pretty big outsiders here. I'm pretty biased, right? In a few different ways.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So I'll let you speak first, and then I can spew my absolute, Parramatta garbage.
I think the Dogs win this game. They had a week off, which always helps a little bit. They had some guys out injured too, and they get a couple of those guys back. Still without Preston, though. Don't love that. It gave like Max King and guys like Crichton some time, but I don't love the fact that they've been a bit skittish about Lachlan Galvin, and they've named him in jersey 23. It's like either play him or just leave him in reserve grade. Don't even give him a reserve spot. Like, make it clear, because then the whole thing hanging over the week is, will Lachlan Galvin play? Will Lachlan Galvin play? I expect him not to play. I don't think that he will play this week because it's too close.
Move, though.
It is a little cowardly because I would have loved to see him play against Para, considering Para were also thinking about signing him.
I think that'd be.
I think that's the whole point, right?
But where does he?
What
play,
we want to
though?
see. We want to see storylines. That's what
he's not the 14, though. Like, because Bailey Hayward's their long-term hooker.
Yeah, they would have to carry like a very small bench.
Yeah, and they're already a bit undersized.
They are, yeah.
They don't have Curran there to play big minutes in the middle either. He's playing on the edge spot. So I don't think they can do it. I reckon Galvin's not playing. I'm with you there. Unless they drop Sexton or something.
They will probably end up dropping Sexton, unfortunately. Yeah. And for a guy to have led the team a little, like as a half, you're doing all the organising for a team at the top of the comp.
Season too.
Yeah, and he's been good in those games when he's been out, like Sexton.
Yeah,
so
they're a disloyal, scummy club.
They are a little bit.
No, they're all right. Look, the dog. I like what the Dogs are doing. They've built from a very low base. Like, you remember how poor they were for a long time, and they've built themselves up to this level. And there's now a lot of pressure on them. Making this move has made them. It's taken them from that plucky underdog who's sort of pumping up big scores to now you're in title window and you're going to get criticized.
Well, I think they're in title window next year. I think this is too disruptive to overcome in one season. Although, with the season being so fluctuous this year, I couldn't tell you with any confidence going into round 14 who looks like they're going to win the comp. So it could be one of those years where someone slips through and just wins it, like right at the end. But as far as this game goes, I think the Dogs will have enough to deter Para. Unfortunately, Parramatta, it almost looked like they were out of gas last week. Like, there was a lot of ball in play. Ended up becoming a bit more of a Panthers game last week. And
I got a different read on this.
I think they needed a lot of stoppages.
I reckon Parramatta, they're winning games and they're just not finishing their tries. So they're making a few wrong reads. They're
doing that in games that they win as well.
Yeah. And that's okay. Like, it's a new system, new attacking system. So I'm expecting mistakes there with Rolls. I think Parramatta get up for this one. I think it's a big game. I think we've got a lot of big game players in our team. The Dogs do as well. It's going to be a cracker of a game, but the upset is just too juicy for me not to go with. So I'm taking that upset. I'm backing Josh Curran to have a big defensive work rate in this one. 70+ fantasy points. Yeah. Absolutely huge.
I think that Para will be on the back foot a lot. That's why I've got Dylan Walker throwing 3 offloads this week. I love what he's brought to the team. If only he could kind of do the same sort of Aaron Clark type role, but he's not like Aaron Clark.
Oh,
He offers so much more
he's fantastic.
opportunity in attack for you guys. I thought it was such a shrewd signing you guys made, and I'm really happy with it.
The Para signings are underrated, by the way. Like you
Lomax,
Adokar, both super value contracts.
Adokar's been brilliant.
Value contract. Jack Williams.
Yeah, again,
fantastic.
He's finally found his feet.
Kitty Kautonga. Like the everyone's criticizing Parramatta's signings because we didn't get Galvin. It's like, look at the other guys.
I think they were criticizing them at the start of the year because it looked really weird. Like
it's a good,
and
size,
people don't like change and all that sort of stuff because he kept out Bryce Cartwright, Madison, all these guys that people at Para have seen for years and go, what are you doing? But like it hasn't worked. I was
confused.
You noticed that hasn't worked, and like now we're starting to see a bit of the fruits of sticking. And this is why people say pick and stick. Like Adam O'Brien, are you listening? Pick and stick, because then you end up
back every week.
Well, then you end up with the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, I do think Para will get to a point this year though where they start to experiment. So we're going to see like Josh Papali'i coming at 6. See a few other
I'd
things
love
there.
that. Yeah.
Well, I think we should be going for Sandon Smith. I don't think it makes sense for him to go to the Cowboys.
Well, we want Sandon Smith.
Who's going to kick the ball?
What do you mean? Who's going to kick the
ball?
Isn't
Purdue your long-term half?
No, I wouldn't say that Purdue's our long-term half. I'd say Purdue's our long-term fullback. You heard it here first.
Drink water. Okay, yeah, I think the Cowboys just don't know what they need, and they're just wasting.
We definitely
wasting a talented young.
Can we get Owen Paddy or
maybe Sandon Smith to be a hooker?
Talon De Silva.
Let's
Sandon Smith is a hooker.
You can admit that Sandon's a better fit at Parramatta next to Mitch Moses. Like that is a
no. I think you guys have a 5'8". His name's Josh Papali'i, and you're not giving him enough credit.
I don't mind Josh, but
he's good.
He needs a bit more time. So
I think he's ready.
All right, that's it. Eels, my tip. Doggies, your tip, guys. If you do want to join us as well, Depot Brewery in Artarmon, Friday night. 5:30 p.m. we kick off, but it runs all the way through to about 8 p.m. And then we'll just be on the beers after that, having a good time. So check it out with us there. Bergs, any last words from you?
Yeah, guys, just let us know your predictions down in the comment section below. Please make sure that you like and subscribe as well. We bring out so much content each and every week. I'm Bergs. That's Longy. Peace out.